Dharma Productions, a name we've all grown up with. They've given us quite a few hits in the last few decades.
सुनो जियो खुश रहो मुस्कुराओ क्या पता कल हो ना हो.
But they've given us quite a few flops as well. All things considered, one question comes to my mind. But to make sense of it, I'm going to have to explain a bit first. Let's take the last 2 years. From 2022 to 2024, Dharma Productions released 10 films. Only one major hit, Rocky and Rani Ki Prem Kahani. But out of the rest, 4 were average, 1 was below average, 2 were flops, and 2 were full-on disasters. And this made me question, how do you get production houses to keep making films worth 100 crores, 200 crores, 400 crores, even after such massive losses? Like Liger, budget 90 crores, earned just 60.8 crores. Selfie, budget 100 crores, earned just 23.63 crores. So how does the industry survive? What's the business model here? What's really going on behind the scenes? There are just so many questions. I went looking for answers, and what I found is not what I was expecting. But actually, it makes a lot of sense. Curious to know how it all works? Make sure you watch till the end of the video. To understand this curious case of Bollywood, there's one concept you need to understand first: business scaling. So, what is business scaling? It means growing your business, but in a way that you make more money without spending way more money. Confused? Let me explain. Imagine you run a restaurant. You make 1 lakh in a month with 5 staff members. Now, if you suddenly start making 10 lakhs a month without hiring 50 more people or doubling your costs, that is called scaling. In the early stages, most businesses aim to scale first, even if it means making losses at the start. Yes, look at companies like Nvidia, Twitter, Uber, Airbnb, Spotify, and Amazon. All of them made losses year after year. And yet, today, they create billions and even trillions in shareholder wealth. Now, scaling isn't just for early stages. It doesn't just mean increasing size or raising funds. As a company grows, each stage brings new challenges, and each stage needs its own kind of scaling. And yes, there might be losses along the way. But in businesses, not all losses are bad. Most companies focus on their star products, much like most FMCG companies. Not only 1 or 2 products are actual cash cows. If those losses are just a part of the plan, then we call them healthy losses. A classic example is Swiggy. They launched their food delivery service back in 2014. In late 2024, they even went public. But here's the part that needs a closer look. If you look into their last 3 financial years, you'll see that total income is growing consistently, but the net profit still losses. All 3 years. And that's what we call healthy losses. That's why even Swiggy went public in late 2024. The losses weren't bothering the investors. In fact, some called the Swiggy IPO a success story for digital India. And that brings us to the other side of the coin. If these companies are still making losses, why do investors keep backing them? It sounds risky, right? But for some investors, it's not deal-breaking if the company shows potential for long-term value. That's not the only reason. There are a few more. First, competitive advantage. Some startups have things others can't easily copy, like unique technology, proprietary data, or a strong user base. That edge makes it attractive. Then, there's the team. Sometimes, investors bet on people more than they bet on numbers. A proven, experienced leadership team can be a bigger asset than current profits. Like Virat Kohli and RCB. They didn't win for 17 years, but the belief in Kohli keeps the fans and sponsors coming back. And finally, in their 18th year, they won. Next is strategic fit. Sometimes, big companies invest in smaller startups that align with their future goals, even if those startups aren't profitable right now. So no, losses aren't always a red flag. Sometimes, they're just a cost of growth. And the same logic can actually be applied to Bollywood too. Maybe this gives us a clue as to why production houses keep backing big budget films, even after heavy losses. But to understand that, let's take a closer look at how the film business actually works. Bollywood business model. Let's break it down into four main players: producers, distributors, exhibitors, and system integrators. First, producers. They fund the film from scripting to editing. Their biggest cost, usually the star cast. Actors' fee often takes up a huge chunk of that budget. For example, Allu Arjun reportedly charged 300 crores and Shah Rukh Khan somewhere between 150 to 200 crores. But not all stars take their money upfront. Some go for profit sharing deals. Like Amir Khan, he often takes zero salary during production. Instead, he earns a percentage of the final profits after the film releases. Okay, coming back to the point, how do producers make money? They make money by selling theatrical rights, satellite TV rights, OTT rights, music rights, in-film ads, and merchandising. Take Pushpa 2 for example. The combined value of its theatrical and non-theatrical business stands at over 1,000 crores. Also, it's worth noting that multiple production houses often collaborate to share the financial risk, especially in high-budget films. A good example is the 410 crore project Brahmastra, which was co-produced by several notable industry figures and studios. Now moving to the next part of the business model, the distributors. They're the bridge between the producers and the theatres. They buy the rights and take charge of releasing the movie across different regions or states. Traditionally, that meant making multiple copies of the film and physically delivering them to the theatres. Now, with digitization, that process is faster and cheaper. According to experts, distributors generally charge about 15-20% of the total box office collections. So, distributors work on different models. If the distributor pays a fixed amount, keeps the profit beyond that, giving a minimum guarantee. Outright sale, where producers sell full rights but takes no future profits or losses. And there's a commission model, where the distributor earns a cut and the risk stays with the producer. A good example of this is Jawan. The film was released mostly under the commission model across India. And after deduction, distribution, commission, the net share received by the producers was around 450 crores. Now, the exhibitors. These are your movie theatres, where you buy your tickets and your popcorn. Their income comes from ticket sales, food and beverages, in-cinema ads. But there's something most people don't realize. Theatres don't keep all the money from ticket sales. Actually, they split the revenue with the distributor. For example, week 1, 65-35, meaning theatres get 35%, sometimes less. By week 3, their share increases to 45%. And by week 4, the share can go up to 50%. So, for producers and distributors, it's critical that the film performs well in the first week. That's when their share is the highest, and most of the business happens. And lastly, system integrators. These are the tech teams behind the scenes. They handle digital distribution, equipment, and satellite links for theatres. They earn from equipment rentals, digital print fee, and ad sharing. So, that's the gist of Bollywood business model. Now that we've looked at it, let's come back to that one question. Why do producers keep backing big budget films even after back-to-back flops? Now, every film has something called a landing cost. That includes everything: production, marketing, even interests on loans. But that number almost always kept a secret. So, when people say a film is a flop, it might not actually be one. Because if the producers have already made money from non-theatrical sources, like we saw in the case of Pushpa 2, or look at Brahmastra, not everyone called it a hit. Some people said it underperformed. But then, Ayan Mukherjee announced Part 2 and Part 3. Would that really happen if the first one lost money? Unlikely. Industry insiders say Brahmastra earned 150 to 200 crores from non-theatrical sources. So yeah, even if it didn't destroy the box office, the producers probably walked away with profit. Why? Because the producers didn't just make a movie. He was scaling a business model behind the scenes. What might look like a loss to the audience might actually be a smart investment for the producer. That's why you'll see producers backing big films, even after a flop or two. And with that, we've come to the end of the video. So, the next time you hear someone say, that film flopped at the box office, remember that might not actually be the case. The real game, it's in how you scale business. Just like in startups, producers invest upfront, take big risks, and they're not just betting on one film. They're building a system that earns profit across platforms. Now, I want to hear from all of you. Which movie didn't work at the box office, but you absolutely love the movie? Drop it in the comments below. If you found this interesting, do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. There's more coming your way. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Take care and bye-bye.